Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I hope my team they won.
Yeah. Man.
I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won.
Yeah.
I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Plays that gets them a touchdown to walk off. And so as Charles is appropriately doing, and I'll let him take over, for all the victory folks, which will include Jackson State Tigers, although there are probably some nervous moments there and people are happy. While they may not have covered the most important things, they are crowned Eastern Division champions of the SWAC, which means their dream and their goal of playing for another conference championship and national championship is still alive. Back to back is an opportunity. 4 in 5 years. They've won 4 straight championships through the early 80s was a time, but so you have the front end of that when they started in 82, the back end of that in 85, where you could say 4 to 5 years, but not in this type of way where you have 2 different coaches, 2 straight conference championships, and then follow up with a down year, if you would, and then follow up with potentially what would be 2 back-to-back championships. The team on the west side that would like to have something to say about that, but we'll have time to get to that. That's a little later. Right now, we're going to give victory cigars to Benedict Tigers, Albany State, Golden Rams, big playoff victories. Both of them come from behind victories. Shout out to Jackson State. We'll recognize formally throughout the show when we get to scores of the top 7 in terms of them sealing the deal to win the Eastern Division, hold off Alabama State, and also making sure that they host the SWAC championship game. Amazing how a kneel down could potentially be at least $1 million, if not a $2 million play.
Yep.
Glances through your eyes. Maybe over $2.5 million where things are going now. So it's amazing when you think about how you look at it from the business side of sports, as we tell you. As I have my Black College Actively Black gear on today, traveling back, as I got to have the opportunity with Big Mike to be in Orlando for the Florida Classic, which that had an exciting play, essentially touchdown. It went the other way for the Rattlers, but Bethune-Cookman Wildcats deserve a cigar in terms of what it takes. And having a 500 season, getting it done, beating their rival, which they hadn't done in a couple of years, so that was a big deal for them. Need to share some love for the MEAC because not only do you have a conference champion in the MEAC, with the South Carolina State Bulldogs defeating Delaware State. Shout out them for a solid season. But South Carolina State, no Chennis Berry that just cannot find a way to lose a conference game over the last 4 years means that he is going back to the Cricket Celebration Bowl to face the champion of the SWAC. We'll see what that looks like, which means also can honor Prairie View. They have a victory cigar as they did what many people expected, but they did it in fine fashion against Mississippi Valley State to continue what they're doing. So shout out to Mike for his victory cigar. I'll make sure he's putting that out there. North Carolina Central got to 8 wins as they had a big win. Shout out to them as well. Howard goes out with the victory. So a couple of teams made sure that they got their victory cigars out this week to get it done. So it was fun. And as I'm here in the house, Texas Southern University, want to make sure we acknowledge Texas Southern getting 6-5, a big victory.
Yeah.
Cigar, shout out to the Tigers. That being said, welcome to episode 745 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab Radio Show and Podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports, for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture, HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic program and the business of HBCU sports. I'm your host, Dr. Cavil, along with my co-host, Mike Watson, Charles Bishop. We have AD Drew as well. We're filming from our home studios, sending the signal live to Case-Way's 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famers. We like to always honor him. That's Ralph Cooper from the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Now it's time for me to say, Charles, how you doing?
I'm better now. Doc, let me say, we talked about the ledge, on this show. And the ledge visited my house yesterday pretty doggone well. My wife, she walked out the house. She said Hail Marys. She cussed me. Yesterday, the ledge showed up at my house, but Jackson State, they got the job done. Cigars go out to TC Taylor. Another SWAC East Division championship. But I tell you what, I've watched Jackson State football all my life. Mississippi Veteran Memorial Stadium was a de facto babysitter on Saturdays. I don't think I've seen a game like that. I've never seen a fumble on victory formation. So to sweat that out and to sweat out a couple of Hail Marys against your arch rival, I tell you what, that was a relief. You saw a lot of relief. And you saw it on my phone yesterday, a lot of relief to get through that game. But hats off to Coach Xavier Thomas and Alcorn. I mean, that was a game yesterday. I was numb. After that game yesterday.
Yeah, they fought, but credit to Jackson State. Finding a way to get it done. Let me go to you, Mike. How you doing?
All good. Had a few hours sleep. It was a long weekend, beautiful weekend. Man, some terrific football. But I gotta give a shout out to the Florida Classic folks. The Florida Classic folks. We got in the airport. We flew out of Philadelphia at about 5 a.m., 5:30 to be exact. We got to Orlando 7:30. It was no peace for us to make it to the Florida. Man, folks were out cooking, dancing around. It was a tremendous environment, families upon families, both sides of the coin, and you saw a sea of RVs that had been there at least a couple of days. I had been to the Florida Classic once before. I just did not remember it quite like that. The attendance was listed, I think, at 55.5 or something. I swear there was more than that. Once the stadium got filled, there was more than that. So hats off to them for just a tremendous environment, the music, the culture. I do my usual where I go down and walk in the stands and hear people. That was great. Then hats off to the gentleman who gave us play-by-play in the media section. There was a gentleman, I can't even explain it to give us justice, but every play he was telling us what happened. And he was talking to the runners on the field when they cut the wrong way as if they were listening to him. Keep in mind, it was 4 stories up. This gentleman kept on with the comments at all. I could not keep a straight face.
Oh, yeah, we kept looking at each other. Mike is trying to do it justice, but
I can't even do it.
He said the quarterback, Bethune-Cookman, had happy feet.
Yeah.
He called first downs when they were 4th and 1. He calls 4th down stops or 3rd down stops when they were first down.
Yes, he talked out 3 conspiracies against them because
was he oiled up? Was the question?
No, that was the worst part. I don't even think he was oiled up. This is different. And you
No,
couldn't
he was
even
not.
the people in there couldn't even tell him that they had a proverbial professional workroom, no cheering, but he
Yes,
wasn't cheering. So
he was.
I don't know what
announcing.
to call this.
He was talking to the player. What are you doing? As he's talking to the coach, and the
He
coach
would
is right
tell
there
you.
next to him.
He would say that's the first down they finna run. He said, "How is the offense tired? They've been on the sideline all day."
Oh my
So it
God!
was hilarious.
His
He was
commentary.
like, "Yeah,
was-
that's the first down." And the guy was like, "Stop!" And then the official call would come in the press box. Yes, third down. Stop. It's 4th and 1. He was
Oh,
constantly wrong too. But that was a different experience.
that was a new experience for me. So anyway, so that those are my hats off. But other than that, great weekend of football.
Great weekend of
Oh,
football.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike. That was both of those. Shout out, like you said, all the folks involved, Florida Classic. It was amazing. Shout out to Roy getting it done so we could actually do SWAC TV Live and do BCSN as well. It was an incredible environment to be a part of. To check it off the list, I've done all major classics now in terms of our classics that we have. Magic City Classic, Bayou Classic, State Fair Classic, Florida Classic, which are all SWAC classics now. I've been there, obviously. Previously, I even have done the Southern Heritage Classic, obviously not necessarily a SWAC, although this past couple of years it's had SWAC folks participating. But the larger classics, I've been able to check off the box that are still active. With that being said, AD Drew, how was yours?
Well, I did not do a classic yesterday, but I did playoff football on yesterday, and I'll admit, I was at the Albany State Valdosta State game, and I went to the post game press conference after the game, and I made the classic media members mistake. I assumed when I went into that press conference that Benedict had lost that game. I asked the question.
Wow.
How does it feel to be the only HBCU that won in Division II? And they gave the appropriate answer. Not knowing while we were in the press conference, Benedict had pulled off the HBCU version, the Division II version of the Music City Miracle, i.e., the Wingate Wish, as I'm going to dub it.
The Wingate Wish.
The Wingate Wish. I like that.
And I just got to say this. I know we're going to get into this game, but I don't know how many people realize every August, every football coach puts in that one crazy ass play that they supposed to run at the end of the game. You may practice after August and you put it in that one day of install. You may practice it once throughout the season. Let's be real. Hopefully you never have to use that play because hopefully you never in that situation. And realistically, you know that play will never work until it does.
Until it does.
Until it does.
Yeah.
Until it does. Exactly.
And just shout out to Wingate. We are going to have I can't quite say Ali Frazier 3 in Division 2 because Albany State has won 2. I think this is more like Holyfield Bowl. Well, Holyfield was just beating Bo up. So, but anyway, we'll get into it a little bit later, though.
We'll get. There's one part I want to point out when we come back to that that we haven't talked about. So,
go ahead, Mike.
I want to. Hats off to the fella who tried to make the very tackle at the end. If you watch that play,
You gonna do a hats off? He'll have nightmares of
I'm
that.
saying hats off because hopefully he got a good night's sleep because he got ran over.
Hey, Mike, at least he didn't give up on the play.
At least he didn't give up on, but man, I think
Maybe
I
he
would
should have the way he looked because he tried to get
I
over
would have
there.
rather pulled a fake hamstring and gave up than to get run over like
Wow.
That was wild. All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and actually give you a breakdown of the scores of those top games. We're actually going to do a mid-major component of this. We'll talk about those playoff games as well as the top 7. Get these gentlemen thoughts on that. Charles has shared a little bit on the ledge, but we'll see if there's anybody else officially that goes on the ledge. He got the blessing, if you would. It sounds like, you know, you say you go up there and you see the light. He got to come back and talk about
Right.
Some people in 2025 are not as fortunate, and they're getting more familiar with the basketball team. They passed knowing the point guards. They knowing the forwards and some of the bench players. They know
they're 6 man by now.
Yeah, know they're 6 man. Know whether they can play some defense or not. Yep.
No doubt. So let's take our first break and come back on the other side.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Planning an event? From weddings to corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC brings over 15 years of experience to make your vision a reality. Based in Metro Atlanta and serving statewide, even internationally, we provide versatile event planning and authentic catering cuisines tailored to your needs. Whether it's pre-game meals for student athletes, fundraisers, weddings, corporate functions, CMJ Events LLC is your one-stop solution for exceptional service and unforgettable food. Our diverse culinary heritage means we cater to all cultural tastes, dietary needs, and food restrictions, making every meal uniquely yours. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Visit us on all social media at CMJ Events LLC or email us at cmjeventsllc@gmail.com. Also give us a call at 404-664-3882 so that we can start planning now.
College football fans, a champion will rise in Atlanta on December 13th. MEAC champion, SWAC champion, the 10th Cricket Celebration Bowl, crowning an HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year. Returning to Atlanta on December 12th, 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where 2 national champions will be crowned. Follow us for rankings updates throughout the season, and join us on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip-hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a loss, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
This is Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington, Charles Bishop, and A.D. Drew. Sneaker Shop Talk says, at Tennessee State, we know the third string power forward. Yeah, they lost a tough one, man. They just couldn't get a field goal. They needed just one more field goal and couldn't quite get to that. So Tennessee State, mercifully, their season is over. Let's talk about that. You'll see me throughout the show. I'm going to acknowledge the 3 teams that have life in terms of postseason play. I know we still have 2 conference games in the SWAC, and we have 2 mid-major programs moving on in the playoffs, and we'll acknowledge that. We'll take a deeper dive on those programs in terms of what's next for them on Tuesday, but we will break that down. We might have a chance to talk about Big Ben. El Cavil, the Big Ben Award, coming closer to who will take home that trophy. The honorees must also exhibit the enduring characteristics that define Ben El Cavil Sr.: determination, diligence, integrity, performance, familial, teamwork, fraternal, and community engagement. Big Ben was an HBCU football All-Americans playing with Wiley College in the mid-20s. That is 1920s. Ben El Cavil Big Ben Award is presented by the THE Agency Program, was established to recognize and reconstruct the historical resistance of HBCUs by analyzing the cultural climate of HBCU athletic programs by highlighting the sports career of Ben El Cavil Sr. With that being said, let's move into last week's top 7 and see how it shakes out with these scores. Top 7 was Grambling State at 7-4, 4-3. Number 6 was North Carolina Central Eagles. Delaware State Hornets, playing for a MEAC championship, was at 5. Prairie View and Panthers that had clinched the Western Division, wanted to go out on style and get to 9 wins they hadn't had since 2009. Number 3, Jackson State Tigers. Number 2 was South Carolina State Bulldogs. They were playing those Delaware State Hornets for a MEAC championship. And obviously by now, you know they got it done on the road in great fashion. And then number 1 is Alabama State Hornets, who were looking for their own miracle that looked like they may have got it close to it, but it was snatched back by those Jackson State Tigers by finding a way to get it done, and they safely removed Charles Bishop and the rest of his family from the ledge. Thank you.
Would have been like the miracle of the Meadowlands.
That was the first name that popped in my head. I was thinking about Herm Edwards yesterday.
Herm Edwards.
Oh man.
Oh man. So let's get in these scores and get to it, as that will be the theme of the week for so many people. Looking at week 12 for major division, mid-major division will be week 11. You see here we have Valdosta State Blazers versus Golden State Rams. The Rams hosted and got it done at home. They defeat the Blazers out of the Gulf South Conference. So the Golden Rams improved 11-1, 8-0, as you know, conference-wise, while Valdosta State Blazers fall to 9-2, 7-1. More importantly, they move on into the playoffs as they win 35-30, getting SIC a victory in the playoffs. Quite important there. Let's move to our next score. We're going to stay with mid-majors. This was a game where it featured Frostburg State Bobcats. They went on the road. They get it done as they improved to, I believe it's actually 10-2, 7-1 in terms of their matchup, while Johnson C. Smith Falls was able to keep it close a little bit there, but couldn't get it done as they fall to 10-3, 6-1 overall in terms of what they got done. Next one we had none other than California. The Vulcans are able to go on the road and get a tough victory over Virginia Union Panthers. This one probably is a tough one. You give the Vulcans a lot of credit as they improved 9-3, 3-3 overall in terms of their matchup. Virginia Union Panthers, they fall to 9-3 as they came out of the CIAA regular season 7-0. Got back in the game, but couldn't find a way to get it done. So their season is over. Let's get into our next matchup, bringing us to number 4. That's Kentucky State, game that a lot of folks had the eyes on. But Kentucky State falls to Newberry Wolves. The Newberry Wolves improves to 8-2, 7-1 in terms of their victory, and Kentucky State falls to 8-3, 7-1, 45-24 was the score of that game. Next, as we get into the matchup, this is the one that highlighted the show coming on, which will get a lot of the talk this week on various platforms. Let's not forget that Auburn State, the Rams got it done as well. But the Benedict Tigers go on the road, and as they win, improving to 10-2, 7-1. This Benedict Tigers, while they couldn't get a conference championship, they're back. They were able to do something that Chennisberry was not able to do for the Benedict Tigers, as he built that program. This time they're able to get a playoff win, which sets up a trilogy, if you would. I guess we can call it at least that. A trilogy out of the SIC. And we know that means that the SIC team will move forward in the playoffs regardless. We'll see who that is. But in this matchup, 25-24, touchdown at the end of the game. As he said, the Wingate Wish, as we coin it here, the Black College Sports Network, gets it done for the Benedict Tigers. With that, let's move into our major division game. Number one, the Alabama State Hornets improved to 9-2, 71-44 as they defeat Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Golden Lions have fallen to 3-8, 2-6. The Golden Lions season is complete. Improvement this year, but certainly not where they want to go. Alabama State took a huge lead up, finished tied, I should say, in the regular season, but a head-to-head loss in Jackson has them at home in terms of playing for a SWAC championship. They do have a Turkey Day Classic. I will be at that game, so I'm excited to put that on the chalk list as well, bucket list in terms of getting that done. We'll be doing the HBCU Sports Lecture Series that Wednesday, so I'm excited about that as well. I'll get to have my little fella, Deuce, tagging along, so we're going to take some HBCU road trips, so he's going to get a chance to see some of that work as well as he gets to have Turkey on with a football twist to it. Not just television, but he gets to do it live. That should be fun and fascinating as we'll get out here and keep you updated on that. But everybody is waiting for the one that had everybody on the edge of their seats, literally, if not on the floor in some places. Yeah, Jackson State. I can't wait to talk to my neighbor as he see how he takes this. But credit to Jackson State. They win not only this game, but it means they clinch the SWAC Eastern Division, and they will officially play for a SWAC championship in 2 weeks. They will host the game, more importantly, for them. They improved to 9-2, 7-1. As Alcorn Falls cannot get to 500, as they were desperately trying to get there, but their season, after a second half surge, credit to the Braves in terms of what they did there, but they fall 5-7 and 4-4 overall. Score of the game was 27-21. Boy, you talking about ups and downs. That play, essentially at the end of the half, was a huge 14-point turnaround. Jackson State is up 17-7. The Braves have get all the way down to the 1 yard line, according to the charts. Watching it. And I watched it this morning. I was sitting on the plane, and a high snap, and it was so high that the quarterback couldn't get there. Actually, Jackson State is rushing, try to recover the ball, couldn't pick it up. It falls further away in terms of their territory. Essentially, it is recovered about the 45-yard line. Change of possession. Jackson State on the next play throws a slant that essentially goes to the house. So you're going to have essentially, 24-7. Huge play to me. While we'll look at the end of the game, that play was big. You get some people will say a controversial call where it looks like they pull over on touchdown, but clearly when you see the replay, which we couldn't see because we were trying to figure it out. I got to watch this morning, which you had the double pass.
Yeah.
And I want to acknowledge the Jackson State defense because they essentially forced that. They were kind of back in the backfield, which didn't allow the receiver to really go behind. So they tried to make the best of the play for the Braves, unknowing, so they throw it in front. It was a double reverse type of play, but because they threw it forward, because the defensive end closing down linebacker on that side, and ultimately essentially get to the sidelines and running in for a touchdown. No flags on the field. So I want to give some credit to the booth because it was right. They got to play right. You know, you might be frustrated in different ways if you're the Braves. Buzz down and say, look at the play. They were seriously about ready to kick the field goal. The extra point. And once that's done, it's done. You look at it, and it was clearly double pass. That comes off the board. But credit to the Braves for fighting back. I want to give a little context for those that may have just focused on the end of the play, but that game had it all throughout the game. So credit is due there. Jackson State, now they can put that behind them, concentrate over the next 2 weeks, and see what they're going to do to play for a playoff. Will we get a rematch in the Cricket Celebration Bowl? Or will we get a first-year coach, 2 Division II coaches previously that have elevated their program and will play for the first-time entrant, play for a Cricket Celebration Bowl championship? It's be fascinating to see. Want to acknowledge the championship. Shout out to T.C. Taylor, Ashley Robinson, president, Jackson State University, and all the young men and gentlemen coaches out there that worked extremely hard to bring that championship home.
I got a question. Pull that picture back. I'm going to talk to Ashley. Everybody in that picture got blue or white on. He the only one with a hot, what's that, hot pink?
It's their accent red. It's their accent red.
That is no way no accent red. That is like
that's W.C. Gordon Victory Red. That's what you call that.
That's called standing out like a sore thumb.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny.
You wait till I talk to Ashley.
He gonna say you can say whatever you want. He gonna take that championship.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, he can say I'm standing next to the trophy. All right, you got me.
We're gonna go into that number 2 versus 5, and then we'll come back to this 9 versus 8. 2 versus 5, South Carolina State. Man, this was a extremely entertaining game. Got to watch this one. And went back and forth, but every time you thought Delaware State was going to do their own miracle and put the South Carolina State Bulldogs on their ledge, the Bulldogs do what championship teams does, much like you saw with Jackson State. They find a way to get it done. They win. They get to 9 wins. Check out all those teams with 8, 9 wins. 9-3, 5-0 as they defeat Delaware State, having a surging first season, surging to what they thought possibly was a championship, could not quite get it done at home. All the cards seem in place, but not to be. 8-4, 4-1. Shout out to Chennis Berry. You could tell he was very excited. Usually he, shows some emotion, but this meant something to him a little more. I have to ask him that. They win going away 28-17 to win the MEAC championship, which means they, as you saw John Grant issuing his congratulations in the official invitation, goes to South Carolina State Bulldogs. Job well done for the Bulldog fans out there. Let's move to this next matchup, 8 versus 9, and it lived up, 8-9 in terms of the rankings. Bethune-Cookman finally gets the victory over FAMU, 6-6, 5-3. They improved to FAMU falls to 5-6, 4-3. Remember, they have a chance to still get to 500. They have that Mississippi Valley game. They have to go on the road, rescheduled. We won't redetail that, but Bethune-Cookman wins 38-34. Play at the end of the game. It's 4th and 9. The receiver gets past the defensive back there, sitting and literally wait for the ball is how far he got behind the defensive back, realized it, tried to recover, was probably saying all kinds of prayers and curse words, but could not get back there as the ball falls in his hands. He waits on it, and he's able to turn around and take a couple of steps and get to the end zone. The Bethune-Cookman fans celebrate. You see them carrying players off the field. Rattlers are dejected after making their comeback. It went back and forth plays in that game, so very exciting.
A funny thing about that, at the beginning of the show, we shared about the gentleman who was giving the commentary. When that play happened, I think we all joined that gentleman because we all saw how open, he's wide open. It was about
everybody get their own commentary. In fact, that might have been the only time that he was quiet.
Exactly.
He was trying to figure out what happened himself, like the rest of us. So shout out to all those there. I do want to give the picture of South Carolina State, recognizing them in their championship. You should pull that up before we get the prayer view. Go ahead and pull up I think there's a picture in there. Should be after South Carolina State.
It didn't load, Dr. Cavil.
Okay. So we did have a championship. We'll see if we can get that maybe later this week to acknowledge them. Good picture there with the commissioner stills, getting it down there in terms of that championship. With that, let's go to the Prairie View A&M victory over Mississippi Valley State. Prairie View closes the regular season in fine fashion, going 9-3, 7-1, ranked number 4, 1-11, 0-8, 59-6. Valley scores the touchdown off a block punt, so it gives Jackson probably something still to talk about. But other than that, pretty impressive in terms of how they close out this game and close out the season. We'll see what that means in 2 weeks as they play for a SWAC championship. Number 6, also another team closing out the season to get to 8 wins is North Carolina Central. Obviously, they had some tough losses to Delaware State and South Carolina State. They played for the championship. But Central closes on a strong note, 8-4 season, 3-2. They defeat Morgan State. That falls 4-8, 1-4, 33-14 was the score of that game. And the last one here we have was actually Grambling State, ranked 7. They were open as they prepare for the Bayou Classic. We'll see what that looks like. As I come back from Montgomery, Deuce and I are going to stop in New Orleans, and we'll actually partake in the Bayou Classic. First iteration of the Bayou Classic, as well as the Turkey Day. So we have a big Thanksgiving week for us. We'll keep you informed of what that means.
You just missed the Valley FAMU game along the route.
Yeah, you might as well stop and it'd have been
go north, then come back south.
right. Good points. If they had it on Friday, we probably would do that, but I think it's the same day. So with that being said, let me get into this. I know we kind of pushed it far. There was a lot going on there. But Charles, what stood out to you? Any ledge, helmet stickers? Which direction you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I can start with the helmet stickers. I mean, I think first and foremost, you give credit to South Carolina State, representing MEAC in the Celebration Bowl again. And you mentioned it. Every time it seemed as though Delaware State started to get some momentum, South Carolina State would do something. And guys like George Smith, huge day yesterday, 4 catches, 53 yards, but he consistently found creases in Delaware State's defense. Josh Shaw, big game on the ground yesterday. And then the quarterback play. I think that was huge yesterday with regards to William Atkins, IV, being able to get it done, 249 yards, a couple of touchdowns. But the South Carolina State defense, they bent from a running perspective, but there was nothing doing for Delaware State in the air. A couple of interceptions, turning back in the end zone. 4 interceptions all total on the day. So definitely some helmet stickers go out to a very good team effort this week with regards to South Carolina State. Helmet sticker goes out to Ahmad Miller, 1,000-yard back for Jackson State. It was tough sledding yesterday with regards to what he was able to get done, but he got over that 1,000-yard marker, so that was huge for Ahmad Miller. So definitely got a helmet sticker to him. And week in, week out, you got to give another helmet sticker to Nate Rimber. It seemed as though, Jackson State does have quite a few weapons offensively, but Nate Rimber really does stick out with regards to that. So had to give a helmet sticker out to Nate Rimber yesterday. Great game.
Great job. Good points. Big Mike, where are you going with yours?
Yeah, Charles kind of stole my thunder. I wanted to give hats off to South Carolina State as well. For the last 5-6 weeks, we've talked a lot about who will come up, and all we've done is seen South Carolina State slowly but surely. All they do is win, and really hats off to their defense. So I mean, they've taken on all comers. You didn't hear a lot coming from that camp, so I don't have a name specifically, but that defense and DeChennis, on the job he's done with that team. So hats off to them. As far as a sticker, I want to mention Josiah Rockwell, the receiver for Prairie. He had it was four receptions, 100 yards. He had a TD. His longest was I think 32 yards. Sorry. He has emerged as Prairie View has opened up its passing game as one of the top receivers in the SWAC. So hats off. He's had a couple of big games here. So my sticker goes to Josiah Rockwell.
Great points. Good one. Big Ben candidate emerging late in the season, as you said appropriately. Good stuff there. Mike, AD Drew, where are you going with your helmet sticker analysis in terms of those top 7, as well as the scores of the mid-major?
I'm staying on Division II level, and you guys gonna have to excuse me. I got to do multiple helmet stickers here. First helmet sticker goes out to the Benedict defense. Well, the Benedict defense and special teams, because with Wingate up 24-0, Wingate had not only one but 2 opportunities to put that game away, and Benedict did what it needed to do. Wingate going down. Opportunity to score. Benedict picks him off in the end zone. Opportunity 1, which led to Benedict's first offensive touchdown. Then later on, that was in the 3rd quarter, and I believe this may have been at the top of the 4th quarter, with Wingate with an opportunity to add 3 after defense stopped Wingate inside the 10-yard line. The Benedict special teams blocks the field goal, and it is a scoop and score for 7 points, i.e. the 2nd touchdown. So those 2 plays, I have to give the entire Benedict defense and special teams their credit, but I got to take a little bit away from them also, Dr. Cavil. They missed the PAT after the scoop and score, which set up which actually led to the scenario that we had, and then they missed a 2-point conversion when they needed a 2-point conversion. So that went both ways. But also in that same game, Jackson Jensen, who did not get the start, but came off of the bench at the quarterback position. I had some intel Friday night that the Ocean was going to get filled, i.e. the Ocean was not going to happen on that day, that Darius Ocean potentially was not going to start Saturday morning. I got a call Friday night about this. Ocean did start, but that didn't last long. Jackson Jensen came in, and pedestrian numbers, nothing special. 11 of 29, 158, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, adding another 33 yards on the ground on 7 attempts. But the change of pace was enough to get this Benedict offense clicking, especially in that in that 4th quarter. And switching over to the other Division II game.
Before you do that, I want to acknowledge what you just said about the Benedict. I think that's great context from the standpoint that a lot of folks obviously going to be focused on the last play. And Benedict has been driven by the special teams and defense all year long. We've talked about that, and the fact that they were able to make another statement in the playoffs is very appropriate. Good stuff. Go ahead, Drew.
And in the other game, Isaiah Knowles and Tiant Weiss. Isaiah Knowles, 24 of 37, 264, 2 touchdowns. Dr. Cavil threw an interception on the first offensive play of the day. But the Albany State defense only held Valdosta State to 3 points. And you're looking at, oh my God, they're going to come in here, they're going to do it to us again. No. This Golden Rams team did what they needed to do in that particular game. Tiant Weiss, 20 attempts, 134 yards, and a touchdown. So just want to give those helmet stickers. I know I've been long-winded, Dr. Cavil, but the fact that, last week we were talking about how we're going to determine the number 1. Hell, next week is the Division II HBCU national championship game with Albany State and Benedict going heads up. So
good point.
My vote will go to the winner.
Yeah, I want to re-echo that. Isaiah Knowles has been a top player all year. So passing, just leading the team. So I think it's well worth it to raise the flag on all Vanny State, as my father-in-law would say. But I didn't see the game, but I talked to my father-in-law who did see the game. He said, "How about them Rams, son?" So I think what you said is well worth it. So
good stuff. I see the lab listeners are at it as they were going through their transitive property, previous games. So fascinating. I will say this one part. It's good that y'all going through some games because it's fascinating because a lot of folks talk about the schedules. But y'all got a lot of transitive properties you have to go through because of the 8 conference games, 6 shared opponents for both Jackson State and Prairie View. 6 shared opponents, with both of them going 5-1 against those opponents. So it'd be fascinating to see how people chop that up over the week and which one they decide to focus on to get their points across. We'll take our first break, come back on the other side, and give you the top 7. See what, if anything, has changed this week. Let's take our first break, come back on the other side, and see what these voters have to say, along with the other folks that voted in the poll. See if we can stir it up, maybe in the chat.
Oh, Lord.
We can push them in a different direction once
we're
we
about to be on the ledge.
All right, we'll be right back after this next break.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavil of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
College football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Dr. Cavil with Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, as you see, representing South Carolina State Bulldogs. Gave a little love to Prairie View as they were the first one to clinch their division. In terms of how the games were played, South Carolina State knocked it off next. So stick around for the last segment. We'll make sure we give all those 3 teams that are involved the some love in terms of the golf visors. Charles was with me when we had a chance to make that trip, so we picked it up then. So, sometimes it's good to be on the road. What you see, one of the things I like to do is go to the bookstore, pick up something that represents, and at this point, it's visors, if you would. We had the shirt campaign we had, and one time before the hair did this before COVID, it was caps. Kind of had to switch that game up, and now it's the visor. So we'll see what that looks like. But without further ado, trying to stick it out a little bit, let's get in this top 7 and see if we can get the chat talking less about the matchup and see if they can talk about the rankings. With that being said, not a lot of changes when you think about teams dropping out. It's pretty much solid in terms of what we have in the top 7. I will say that we do have some changes in terms of receiving votes. Let's get in to see what that looks like. That changed up a little bit. With Texas Southern Tigers just outside of that top 7. They finished the season with two big wins. They finished at 6-5 and 5-3 in terms of the conference standings, which puts them in second place, tied currently with Grambling, and that'll be updated based in terms of the loss column, but we'll see what that looks like as they play the Bayou Classic. But Bethune-Cookman gets in there with their victory in the Florida Classic and is at 8. Bethune-Cookman Wildcats 6-6, 5-3 receiving votes. And FAMU finds a way to stick around at 5-6, 4-3. Be interesting to see if they can close it out with Valley. As you see, it gets a little tough with some of those receiving votes. But when you get in the top 7, it's pretty much no question here. You do have, as you can see, the same top 7, but I'll tell you there were a lot of changes. Voters, based on what they saw, how the season ended, they've changed a lot of things in terms of how they move teams around. So let's get into it and see what that looks like this week. At number 7, you have Delaware State. They were previously ranked 5. They fall to number 7 with a tough home loss to South Carolina State. 8-4, 4-1, still a sharp season, but they stay in the top 7 regardless. Moving on, we have number 6. Number 6, you have Grambling State Tigers. They slide up a spot, even they weren't off. More to deal with Delaware State's loss. 7-4, 4-3. Obviously, to be interesting to see what they do in the Bayou Classic. Can they hold up? Can they find a way maybe to push themselves up a little bit? Central at the 5 spot being off. Or will they have an upset and maybe even fall? That being said, moving on to number 5 with those North Carolina Centrals, I said that a little bit. They were previously 6. They moved up with their victory, 8-4, 3-2 as they close out the season, 161 points, regular season, I should say. They're in that spot. At number 4, we have none other than the Prairie Indian Panthers that won the Western Division. They can't get off that 4 spot, it seems, but they pick up some first-place votes. They had 1. They pick up 2 first-place votes, and I think that's based on some of the changes at the top. We'll hold that out to see what you think of how that does change at the top, but they stay at 4, improving in 9-3, 7-1. But I will say it's important to note that they pick up 2 first-place votes.
Charles, I see you looking. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I see you done gave about 4. Now you told your heart. It wasn't me.
That means he already had them at number 1. That's all they're saying. He didn't change his vote. That's all he's trying to tell y'all.
CB done gave about 4 homes.
Yeah, he keeps doing them homes. At number 3, see if he says about this home. Alabama State falls from the number 1 ranking after a win. It was a win against Pine Bluff. Some voters said this last week. If Jackson State was able to close it out, that they would take away their number 1 vote. We'll see if it was enough. But before we see that, Alabama State falls from the number 1 spot, 9-2, 7-1, 2 first place votes. They were away. They fumbled at gave a couple of Hail Marys, I guess, but not too bad. You should have seen Prairie View folks out there and our framework. They were trying to figure out. They like Johnny T's. They were trying to figure out where they're gonna stop in Jackson before they got to Montgomery. Don't have to worry about counseling hotels. It was fascinating. These folks was like, look, man, yeah, crazy there. But Alabama State loses first place votes. They started falling 2 weeks ago, if you remember. They lost a vote. This time they lose 3 more votes. 208 points. And they're right there with Prairie View. Be interesting to see how that closes off. I think that victory going to Prairie View was just enough for them to hold on to the point, which probably some people have them higher second, even though they may have not got some first place votes, losing some of those. That being said, we know we have a new number one. Who's number two? Number two is the Jackson State Tigers. Move up a spot. I'm not sure if that's enough to make the Tiger fans happy. I think the way they had the win yesterday was not enough. 9-2, 7-1. They do add a first place vote, so they are climbing. Who's ranked 3, and they move up to the 2 spot, which means South Carolina State has jumped from 2 to number 1. Their victory over a top 7 team in Delaware State has propelled them, adding some of those first place votes, obviously, from Alabama State. And they move up to 218 in terms of the rankings. New number 1 team. But look how close this is.
Yeah.
So while some people will look at just the fact that teams are 1, 2, or whatever, but essentially it's a dead heat. Split votes in a lot of ways. 218, 217, 4 first place votes, 3 first place votes. So it's easy to see how South Carolina State fans will say that they believe they should be number 1. They are number 1. It's easy to say that Jackson State fans will say they're number 1. And then you have some other fans outside of that will lean one direction or another. So it'll be fascinating to see. And apologize, Charles, that you'll have to do all the deflection in terms of dealing with the outcome of folks not playing fair with you. So you have to deal with not only being on the ledge and walking away from it, now you have folks back on the ledge.
Yeah.
Ice cold hater.
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, I don't vote. What y'all don't know is I don't even vote in the poll. I left my stuff on. I'm the host. I take everybody else's votes, combine them with the thing. I don't vote. So it's not me. I am ice cold. I will say that. But a hater, that's not it. Can I hate? I can hate. But in this case, you got to go take it up with the voters. Go find the voters. Charles, what are your thoughts?
Let me start with the bottom down here. Let me put Delaware State in front of North Carolina Central. Let me bump them up to 5. They were playing for a berth to the Celebration Bowl. And then I will have Delaware State 5, North Carolina Central 6, and Grambling 7. Oh God, if I'm a Panther fan right now, no. Okay, yes, Alabama State did get the head-to-head, but I have to feel a little disrespected at 4. So if I'm a Panther fan, so I'm struggling with Prairie View there at 4.
So I'm gonna get ice cold hater from Prairie View, ice cold hater from.
Hey, I'm gonna throw you in the soup with me. I'm gonna throw you in the soup with me. So I had to deal with it. I will let you deal with it this week. So
hey man, I'm just saying.
But South Carolina State, they punched their ticket. They're playing in the national championship game, and we're gonna have to see with Jackson State and Prairie View. So that's where I see it right now.
Just
look at my phone
more. I am fascinated when you talk about having Grambling in the 7th spot, but they have probably the best win of the season in terms of top-ranked team, Jackson State, while Delaware State did beat Central head to head, Central took on some non-conference teams. So it's interesting when you look at it overall, week to week. I'm fascinating. Everybody has some warts here. It'll be intriguing to see what that looks like. Let me go to you, AD, next. Where are you in terms of the top 7?
I agree with Charles. Delaware State should be at 5. Let's start off with that. I don't see how a team.
So you lose and you keep them in the spot?
Yes, because that was a top 5 loss. Dr. Cavil. They were 5 at the time. They played number 2. That was a top 5 loss, whereas Central got a victory against a non-ranked opponent. And even with that top,
theirs was on the road now.
I don't care, Dr. Cavil. It was Howard. And the fact that in a top 5 game, you lose and
I think it was actually Morgan State, but I get you.
I'm sorry, it was Morgan State. It don't matter. They
out of it. Doesn't want to. I got you. I agree.
Yeah, but you number one, you were competitive in that game. Number 2, you beat that other opponent in a top 5 match. No, I'm sorry, Delaware State ahead of Central. Now you split hairs between Central and Grambling on that 6-7 spot because Grambling being idle. Okay, let's go. Let's move with that. Let's move to the top. Jackson State, South Carolina State. Let's keep that same philosophy. South Carolina State, top 5 victory. Jackson State victory against unranked opponent. Mm-hmm. South Carolina State, top 7 victories against North Carolina Central and Delaware State.
Closing statement was nice.
Jackson State, top 7 victories against Alabama State. Jackson State, top 7 loss against Grambling. So just looking at that conference championship, and a victory over a top 5 opponent, edge to South Carolina State over Jackson State. So and now for all of those who are saying Jackson State has the head-to-head against Alabama State, now you can bring that back into it. Jackson State 2, Alabama State 3. Mm-hmm. Alabama State has the victory over Prairie View. Alabama State, both of them have Alabama State with a top 7 loss and top 7 loss there. Prairie View with a loss and a win over a top 7. So yeah, well, we splitting hairs. When it's all said and done, this crap gonna play out on the field in the next 3 weeks.
It will.
Jackson State, Prairie View. Winner of that game is gonna be either number 1 or number 2 going into the Celebration Bowl, playing the either number 1 or number 2 in the Celebration Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
RELAX. You're gonna get a top 2 matchup in the Celebration Bowl, no matter what you say right now.
Mm-hmm.
So just CHILL.
Chill. I like it. Great breakdown explaining to folks how who has the victory. Both have good top 7 wins, top 7 losses. Really nothing to put up there. In fact, if you break it down, South Carolina State has the best resume at this point. And you do that late in the season. But I'm going to give Mike a chance. Maybe he has a different argument. Where are you in terms of top 7, Mike?
No, CB and AD, they didn't leave me the meat on the bone, man. I'm here trying to see if there's any gristle left. I'm looking at 5, 6, and 7. There's no way to me that Grambling should be above Delaware State. So Delaware State has the head-to-head against North Carolina Central. I think you've heard them. So I'm moving Delaware State up. That was a championship level game. They were competitive. So it's, Delaware State, North Carolina Central, and then Grambling at the very end. So those are changes. With Prairie View, I told CB I did not vote them number one. Head to head means a lot. So I'm okay with them at number 4. It will flesh out on the field. So relax. Have a glass of wine, have a cognac, have a cigar. It's going to work itself out. South Carolina State has the best all-around body of work. You can't deny it. I think Jackson State, that loss against Grambling comes back to bite them in the where the sun don't shine a little bit in terms of rankings. But you could make an argument, but I think what you have at 1, 2, 3, 4 is fine. Just change up the 5, 6, and 7. If you go head to head in body of work.
Can I add another point?
Sure can.
Yep.
And this is always the debate, BAC, SWAC, going on in the chat rooms right now. South Carolina State only has 5 conference victories, 5 conference opponents.
True.
Yep.
Here's why you have to value that. In the MEAC, there is absolutely zero margin for error.
Correct.
Whereas in the SWAC, we have a 1-loss Jackson State, we have a 1-loss Prairie View, and we have a 1-loss Alabama State. There was room for error to drop a game. Since going to the 6-game schedule in the MEAC due to teams leaving, we have had an undefeated MEAC champion every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, which
playoff
shows
football
you,
every week. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's championship football every week. There is zero margin for error. You have to go. You have won the tournament. Whereas in the SWAC, you can drop a game and still have some time to correct yourself. That don't happen in the MEAC. Ask North Carolina Central. Ask some of these other teams that have lost that game and then hoping that we can get into that 4-1 tie break scenario. It hasn't happened. Just throw that out. The MEAC, zero margin error. Much respect for that smaller conference schedule.
And it's because of that rationale there. That's why my Hornet Nation fan base, Delaware State fan base, that's why I got them out there on the ledge.
On the ledge?
On the ledge.
Hey, they get it done.
They
I
get
see.
it
Yeah,
done.
once you get that close, you teasing folks. That's like why Charles was on the ledge yesterday. Don't tease me with the Eastern Division Championship, back-to-back championship. You getting off. And I would do one rebuttal to AD. I think you make a good point, but I would argue that Prairie View and Alabama State will say that they didn't have room for error. Alabama is missing out. Alabama State Hornets are missing out on a Eastern Division championship because they didn't go undefeated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that the Prairie View and Panthers are missing out on a home game because they didn't go undefeated. So I think you can look at that both ways. That there was no room for error for those two teams in terms of the outcome of what they wanted to get done, even with the 8-game schedule. So I do think you're right. 5 games is literally a playoffs. But at the end of the day, it's just tough to win a championship, conference championship.
And Dr. Cavil, I will take a point of personal privilege here. Up until about 6 o'clock yesterday, I was squarely on the ledge yesterday.
I just like the way that you keep it real, Charles.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fans who will come out with their chests and say all this, but they won't acknowledge their vulnerability.
Yeah.
In terms of their fandom. You can still be an analyst and whatever, but when you're talking about your fandom is your fandom. And you can talk about being on that ledge because things were just not as clean as you would want them to be.
Sure. And that's where I have to take my hat off to Alcorn yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Cedric Thomas and their staff. Take my hat off to the defense in terms of the physicality yesterday in that game. I had not seen a team meet Jackson State over the past 2 years now. with the requisite level of physicality that I saw in that game. So a lot of respect for Alcorn State with regards to not just football team, but the fan base that they came with it yesterday. And like I said, up until about 6 o'clock, I was trying to figure this out. What happened? My wife was already outside somewhere cursing, smoking a cigarette. It was tough.
And she don't even smoke.
She don't even smoke.
You don't even have cigarette. Somebody's trying to figure out where she got a cigarette to smoke because he's like, oh, my nerves back.
Yeah.
But kudos.
Yeah. And are we gonna talk about the play in that game?
Of course. I mean,
are we gonna talk about? Yeah, Dr. Cavil teased it earlier about the great job by the replay officials upstairs buzzing down. And I'm gonna be honest, if they do not score on that play, they may not buzz down. But everybody don't realize all scoring plays are reviewed.
All scoring plays are reviewed.
And I think when they was reviewing that play, and maybe I'm wrong with this.
That's a good
think
point. So you're saying if the guy gets tackled on the 2-yard line, 1 yard line,
they may not review that.
Yeah, that's the great.
Hey, you know what? Truthfully, I pay attention to stuff like that. I missed the double pass. I did not see that when the play was in the midst of.
Nobody did.
And let me tell you somebody
who did.
Here's the thing. See that. I think they originally reviewed the play to see if when he turned that corner, did he step out of bounds? I think that's what what caused the initial review.
Great point. I agree.
And then when they got into the play, somebody was like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me look at this again. Forward. And what they had to look at was, and let me explain this to everybody. If that ball goes forward to the belly, it is considered a handoff.
Yeah, if it doesn't lose his,
but the fact that there was air
for
about 0.4 seconds that you saw air in there, which made it a forward toss, which makes it a forward pass, and then the second one, which you saw air, that made it the double pass. That's why that took so long, because they had to be like, wait a minute, what I just see? Because number one, that is hard to see with the naked eye, and I've been a wing official for football. I
got my officials winging in right now, so
yeah, that is hard to see with the naked eye, and then you really don't see an official call it unless that ball goes forward and it's dropped. Then they come in they have to process. Wait a minute, that was forward. Then they coming in with the strong incomplete. So everybody needs to understand. Yes, Alcorn fans, I know you're upset, and we rag the SWAC officials, and but they got that one right. Ultimately, it was not called on the field. Tough call to get on the field. I am telling y'all, that is a tough play to see in real time. That's why God invented replay. And they ultimately got it right, and that's what you want to have. You want to have it right.
Man, you got to think about so many games that would be different over the years.
Exactly.
So let's take our next break. We'll come back on the other side. Get into some of these matchups. We'll tease out. We won't really get into the talk of the SWAC championship game. We'll just acknowledge it. We'll talk about the fact that South Carolina State is waiting to see who they will play. But we'll really just give you an update in terms of the 3 games that we played next week. Then we'll call it a show and get the final thoughts from these gentlemen. With that, let's take our last break and come back on the other side.
college football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
With over 25 years of serving our communities, Destiny Financial Services, a division of Global Life, is here to help you and your family through difficult times.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, yeah, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Hey, so we got Roy Ja, that is a expert in a lot of ways in doing the work of giving us some output. He does a lot of the time with the beat flute. Obviously, you see them riding back. So we'll see if we give him a little time there. But before we get in these matchups, Ja, do you have some video content that you wanted to share with us?
Yes, sir. I got some highlights from the Albany State Valdosta State matchup, and also the Benedict Miracle play, essentially. I also have the scoring plays from the Benedict Wingate matchup. But
all right,
I think
let's play a couple of those. So this is the block punt that AD was referencing. That squarely puts Benedict back in the game. 24-13. Again, they mixed the extra point. We were talking about big play. Nice update there. Boy, Benedict, this has to be a clinic tape on how you can win games, special teams and defense. You said you have one from the Albany State?
They must be on the turnpike.
Yeah.
Heading back home.
Yeah.
We're gonna take them off, let them get back on for a second. All right, wait. Yeah, we just lost them. So when they come back, I'll bring them back up.
Well, we might be closing out by then, but we'll see if we can get them on maybe tonight, this afternoon. But let's look at these games, if you would, and just acknowledge these games. We'll get a chance to talk about these on Thursday, or some of us. Some of these gentlemen will be at home and finally get a chance to spend some time with the family, but we'll find a way to get a show with a couple of us in terms of what that looks like. But let's roll it in terms of these matchups. We have that Turkey Day Classic, mid-major, Tuskegee Golden Tigers that are 4-6, 3-5. At number 3, Alabama State Hornets, 9-2, 7-1. As Hornets have ascended, this used to be a game where Tuskegee would find a way to get with Hornets, but not of late. I'm not sure if you're going to see that this year, as Golden Tigers, for their sake, is struggling quite a bit, and season is coming to a hard close. The next one is on Saturday. That is the Bayou Classic. That is number 6, Grambling State, that most people don't see them ranked there, but that's where enough of the voters voted. Grambling State Tigers sit at 7-4, 4-3. They're at Southern Jaguars 1-10, 0-7. It goes back to the 40s when you hear the comments about Southern not being able to win a home game. Late 40s, in terms of them not winning a conference game, goes back to the early 40s. That's when the SWAC looked totally different. That's when the SWAC essentially was a Texas league. This was before Grambling, Jackson State, and the other SWAC members that you know now come into the conference. They went winless in the conference there as well. That's back in the day, Charles, when you had Wiley College in the conference. Texas College, to name some of them. Bishop College, that's not even existing now. Let you know how far you're going back in terms of the early 40s. Can Southern Jaguars, this is one of those rivalry games. It can get there. Grambling State Tigers are having a backup quarterback. So it'll be fascinating to kind of see, can Jaguars scratch one off. They did take Texas Southern the wire and looked like they were going to get one there. Not to be. Last one is a rescheduled game, which is FAMU. They're going on the road. Mississippi Valley State, who are 0-7 themselves, 1-10 overall. The Rattlers obviously disappointed in terms of their rivalry game against Bethune-Cookman, but they do have a chance to get the 500 and get the 500 both on overall season and get the 5-3 in terms of conference race. So it'll be fascinating to see what that looks like. Any last comments from you, Mike?
No, on Florida A&M. No, on or any of the games.
Charles, your thoughts?
I mean, I guess
Mike was asking a question. I don't think you missed it, Doc.
All right, I'm sorry. What did you say, Mike?
Yeah, I'm saying, you asked specifically on the Florida A&M or any of the games, I guess. I'm sorry, I missed.
I'm just saying, any of the games coming up this weekend, any thoughts, closing thoughts that you have about those matchups, or just to close out the week?
No, just the Grambling State Southern game. What, how does Southern, find a way to finish the year? Can Grambling State finish strong? What if, I'm saying strong, what if Southern finds a way to pull that game out? What does that mean? We talked about teams on the ledge, and we talked about alumni networks. What would that mean for Southern? I guess that's the one thing that's sticking out in my mind. Would that mean anything if Southern, by some miracle, find a way to play better than they played up to now? No wins at home or whatever to win that game. That sticks out in my mind a little bit after talking to some of my friends in the Southern network, corporate network. So,
good stuff. Charles, what about yourself?
Looking forward to one of the Band of the Year candidates' performance. So that'll stick out for me with this year's Bayou Classic.
See that, Charles? Just make sure.
I see that.
What did you get that? Did you get that to him?
He did take me to the bookstore.
Hey, he was a celebrity on campus now. He was a celebrity on campus. Everybody recognized Dr. Cavil when he showed up on campus.
I know.
I appreciate that. Jackson State, I will say Charles is still a man, but it was nice being next to the man because they made sure. It was like, oh, I know that. I got you. So, yeah. You give Jackson State some love.
Boom on you. He's like, how you going to put that on? That's blasphemy, Doc.
Say, man, it is what it is. I'm the host. My job is just to call it straight. I do not play. I don't even get to get a lot of fandom. I don't get on the ledge. I used to be on the ledge. I don't get on the ledge. I'm cold as steel. It's going to be what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. They have a chance to win the championship. They got to go and slay the dragon. They got to go to Jackson, a team that has been in the championship game for the last 5 years, been in the Celebration Bowl 3 of the last 4 years. So I don't think you want it any other way. I know to some degree there are probably some people out there that want Alabama State so they can get a little get back. But if you're going to win a championship,
You got to go.
Conference-wise, you need to go play the team that is getting it done. Is a worthy team. I don't think Coach Jackson, in terms of his expectation of the league and knowing the history himself, that you're going to have to go through those teams that have been getting it done.
Yep.
The branded teams, as I like to call them, everybody else calls them the top three or whatever, and that's grown probably with FAMU in most framework about that. So, I'm good. I'm good. I let everybody else have their fandom. I get to do what I do. Then I'll let Charles take me out for championship dinner if we love dragging over there in terms of South Carolina State, as we were able to celebrate him. So I'll make him bring out that gold card he got. No, I'll bring out the black. He got the black. 80 Drew, your last thoughts.
Number one, you're focusing on Southern Dr. Cavil, but there's another winless team in the SWAC. Can Valley find a way to get a win? I mean, they did it last year against this same Florida A&M team, and with Florida A&M, after the way they gave the game away against, and I'll say it, Hell Wildcats. I've said it. I'm gonna leave it right there. Will they mail it in, or will they actually go out and compete in that game? That's number one.
We talking Valley.
Yeah, we talking Valley, dog. We talking Valley.
We still at the end of the year talking that. Never mind.
Yeah. That's only because they screwed it up in October that we still talking Valley. Just keep that in mind. It's their fault. We still talking Valley. That's number one. Number two, while we are getting ready for all the SWAC championship, the Celebration Bowl, let's keep something in mind. The de facto Division II HBCU National Championship will be decided next week in Albany, Georgia.
Albany. Yes.
Number three.
That's a good point. Good point. In Albany. That's right.
Both of those teams have been ranked number one throughout the year. Only other two were Johnson Smith, Virginia Union. It certainly should have been there at the time. Could not quite get it done, or they would have been doing and had this going on a little longer. But you're absolutely right. We'll get to take a deeper dive on Tuesday about that matchup.
And last thing, how about them Rattlers in the volleyball championship game today?
7-8. 7-8.
Yeah.
Seeds knocked off. First day saw 1, 2, and 4 knocked off. And in the semifinals, you get 3 knocked off. Congratulations. It's always tough. Kill the heart of a champion. In terms of that, credit to Southern for getting there as well. Another different way for that rivalry to take place. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks. I knew that 1 versus 8, I was O&G. I talked about that was going to be a tough one. And credit to Kelvin. He told me. I was like, I didn't feel nervous about that. But with that being said, let's call it a show. Look forward to next week as we discuss the latest news in the lab. Follow me, Dr. Kenyatta Cavil, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That is Threads, DRKENYTTACAVIL. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1 on Facebook. Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on YouTube. Charles, I'm not even sure they're going to let me wear the cap any longer.
Yeah, boy.
I just deliver it. I don't understand how these folks think I have so much power. They want to hire coaches, ADs, set up the poll ranking. Look, man.
I'm getting text messages, man. You getting damn near death threats.
I don't know. See, I get hate on both sides. You know, ice cold hater. Jackson State, Prairie folks, mad at me.
Get some. Yes, indeed.
Man, you getting death threats, dude.
Oh man, and I can't even call the FBI because I don't know how they gonna treat me either.
I picked against Jackson State 2 years ago, and I'm still catching reverb.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, yeah, that was tough. Yeah, I remember that. So you're right. I feel better already. Dream big. Continue to move forward. We will talk with you soon. Charles.
Of course.
Mike.
Lecter.
AD.
Dismiss.
Check out the show tonight.
Travel light. Let's go. FAMU volleyball.